Hey, Allison Verhalen here with AV Writing Services, and today I want to talk to you about working from home. I've been working from home for a while now, full-time for almost 5.5 years, and before that I had an office job, and I was working at home before and after that office job before taking the leap to taking this business full-time. So suddenly everyone is working from home, right? And it's a new thing for a lot of people. Before we had, I think, less than 5% of people working from home, and now we have like 30%, I think I saw somewhere, of people working from home. So I've got some tips for you, whether you're still working for your employer, you're just doing it from home now instead of an office, or maybe you got furloughed or you've been laid off and you're trying to do the freelance thing or build your own business and you're trying to figure out how to do that while you're working from home. Either way, I can help you out with some tips because, again, I've been doing this for a while. So tip number one, get dressed up if you want. Okay, personally, my favorite aspect of working from home is that I get to work in my PJs, right? I don't have to worry about what I look like. I'm comfy. All I have to worry about is the work that I'm doing. So that's what works for me. But a lot of other people have found that getting dressed up, it's like a cue to their brain that it's time to get work done, and it gets them in that mindset to work and be productive. So if that's the case for you, by all means, go ahead and get dressed up. Don't feel like you have to, unless you're on a lot of video conference calls with clients, you're doing the Zoom thing, Google Hangouts, whatever you decide to do. Just make sure you wear pants, because you never know what's going to happen. And when you're on a Zoom call, you might have to jump up real quick and maybe you spill hot coffee on yourself or hot tea, or maybe there's some other sort of emergency and you have to jump up and deal with that. You don't want to reveal too much, especially to your boss, if that happens. So if you want to just get dressed up, just the part of you that's visible, that's fine. Make sure you're at least wearing sweatpants or pajama pants or something underneath so that you don't completely embarrass yourself if, heaven forbid, something goes wrong. Next tip is to stick to a routine. This is more for people who are solopreneurs, small business owners. You're working for yourself and you're working from home. It can be very tempting. I know, I've been there. I am there. I'm there all the time, where there's always something that has to get done, right? Well, you're much better off if you stick to a routine, right? Get up, take a little bit of time for yourself first thing in the morning, whether that's meditating. I walk my dog first thing, right? So I'm not working first thing in the morning because my dog needs to be walked. So find something that allows you to take some time for yourself, to breathe, and same thing at the end of the day. Don't be working until the end of the day, and don't be working in your bedroom. I'll get to that a little bit later. But take some time at the end of the day to breathe, do something for yourself, go for a walk, get some exercise, read a book, watch TV, whatever it is you do to unwind. Do that. Don't do that right at the end of the day. Don't be working right up until you go to bed, because then when you go to bed, you'll be thinking about work and it'll be harder for you to shut that part of your brain off and actually go to sleep and get that rest that you really, really need in order to be more productive. So get your sleep. That's another part of sticking to a routine. Go to bed at a good hour, get up at a good hour. I'm not going to tell you what time to go to bed and what time to get up, because that's different for everyone. Personally, I'm not a morning person. I do get up early to walk my dog, but if it weren't for my dog, I'd be getting up a lot later than I do. So know what works for you. But the point is to stick to a routine and get plenty of sleep. And don't answer your email all the time or your phone all the time. If someone is trying to get a hold of you at 7 or 8 o'clock at night on a Friday, don't respond, because that's going to teach them that you're available at that time, and they will continue to try to reach you at that time. And unless you're good with working at that time, just leave it alone. That's a problem that we've had for a while now, and it might be more of a problem now that we're all working from home, is that with the digital age, we're constantly accessible, right? So people expect us to be constantly accessible. So if your boss, was used to having you in the office from 9 to 5 and that was it, and now all of a sudden they're sending you emails at all hours of the day and night and expecting you to respond right away, don't give in. I know it's tempting, but you got to set those boundaries and let people know that you're working during certain hours and you've got to take some time for yourself. So that's it for that. Next up is work in one place, right? Don't work all over the place. If you can, dedicate a room That is your home office. That is where you work. The only thing you do in that room is work. There are two benefits to that. First of all, if you can devote an entire room to just working and nothing but working, you can deduct that from your taxes, but talk to your tax professional about that first to make sure you qualify, because I am not a tax professional and do not pretend to be one. But the second thing that does is, again, when you're in that space, if all you do when you're in that space is work, and you only work in that space, and once you get into that space, it's gonna be like a cue to your brain that says, aha, we are here to work now. And your brain will oblige you, and it'll be like, okay, let's get to work. And you'll find yourself much more focused and much more productive when you're in that space. Now, I mentioned earlier, do not make your bedroom your office, because then you won't be able to sleep. You'll go into your bedroom and you're gonna be trying to work, and your brain is gonna be like, but we sleep here, so shouldn't we be going to sleep now? And you're gonna find it hard to concentrate. And vice versa. If your brain starts to learn that this is where we work, then when it's time to sleep, your brain is gonna be like, but we work here, so let's think about that email we should have sent, and that notification that we got, and that thing that we forgot to do. And you're not gonna be able to sleep, you're not gonna get enough rest. You're gonna wake up the next morning tired and unable to focus. So whatever you do, make sure it is not your bedroom. If you don't have the space to devote an entire room to your office, I completely understand. I tend to work out of my dining room because that's where I have the space. Sometimes I work from my sofa. If you want to work from your sofa, a corner of the floor, if you like floor sitting, whatever works for you, just make sure that it is someplace that you are comfortable and hopefully free of distractions. Now, I understand if you have roommates, kids, pets who get in your face, there's only so much we can do about that. And again, try to train them that when you are doing such and such, you are unavailable. That is not a time to reach out to you. I know if you have small kids, there's only so much you can do about that. But do your best. Don't oblige them. Don't, when they reach for you, when they ask you about something, when you're in the middle of work, tell them that you are working right now. And this is not the time to reach you. When you're up, when you're in the kitchen, when you're doing something else, that's when they can ask you questions. That's when they can get help from you. But hopefully you have a partner or a roommate or someone else that you can say, go ask that person. Or figure it out yourself. Let them figure it out for themselves. It's character building, I promise. So next up, distractions, right? I talked about it a little bit just now. Make sure that wherever you're working, it is hopefully distraction free, not just from pets and kids, but also from the television and the internet. Now, a lot of us need the internet in order to get our jobs done, right? I cannot function without internet access. If my power goes out and I don't have internet, I can't work. There's nothing I can do about that. So that's the case for a lot of us, especially now. But maybe you don't need social media. Again, I do need social media. That's a lot of what I do for my business. But if you don't, turn it off, right? There are extensions you can install on your browser that do not allow you to access certain websites. Social media websites, various blogs that you like to follow, that can be a time suck. YouTube can be a huge time suck. I know, I'm doing this on YouTube. Obviously, I love YouTube, but it can be a time suck because I have definitely spent hours of my life just scrolling through and clicking on one video after another, and next thing I know, it's the middle of the afternoon and I don't know where the day went. So use technology to help you manage your time. It's going to make you so much more productive, and then you're not going to get in trouble with your boss, and you're going to get your bills paid, and it's going to be great. So get rid of those distractions as much as you can. Next up is get your equipment, right? So if you're new to working from home, maybe you don't have a desk. Maybe you don't have a chair that's comfortable to sit in for 8 hours a day or longer if you're a solopreneur and you spend all day every day working, right? So get that ergonomic stuff in there. I personally, I'm standing. I'm at a standing desk because that's where I like to work. That way I can move, I can stretch, it's really easy and really comfortable for me to work like this. So if you want a standing desk, mine is custom made because I have a connection, but you can buy them online for super cheap. And you can even buy ones that are flat against the desk and then they raise after a certain amount of time and then they go back down. So when you need a break, you can sit, and when you want to stand and you're feeling a little antsy, you can stand and get your work done. So And if you don't need a standing desk, you don't need a standing desk. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it works for me. I love it. It works for a lot of people. When I do these videos and I do my Zoom calls, I don't have to worry about, yes, I'm wearing pants, don't worry. But if there is an emergency of some sort, I can just dash out and I don't have to worry about people seeing stuff that I don't want them to see. So get your equipment. For most of us, it's just our phone, our laptop, an internet connection, and that's about it. That's all we need. But there's more to it than just what you need to get work done. And maybe that's not the case for you. Maybe you do need camera equipment if you're a photographer, or editing software on your computer that you didn't have before. Whatever it is that you need, make sure you have everything that you need in order to get work done and to get it done comfortably, right? If you're sitting all the time, make sure you have like a little pad. You can either get that keyboard that's ergonomic, that has your hands like this instead of like this, which will get you carpal tunnel syndrome, right? Or even just a pad beneath the keyboard to remind you to put your wrists up so that you don't get that carpal tunnel. Because I've had it, it's nasty, you don't want to deal with it, and then you can't work for a while, and don't go there. So those are our tips. And then finally, video conferencing tips, right? You want to look good on video. You want to not embarrass yourself on video. So my tips will be mostly focused on Zoom, because suddenly everyone is using Zoom. I've been using Zoom for a while now, for, I don't know, a year and a half. So I'm really comfortable with it. I've used Google Hangouts once or twice. I've used FaceTime once or twice, but mostly I've used Zoom. And suddenly it seems like everyone is using Zoom. So that's what I'm going to focus on for these video conferencing tips. So number one, lighting. Make sure you look good, right? Don't have a window behind you, because then you're going to be backlit and no one can see your face. And you don't want that. And they don't want that. They want that connection. They want to feel like they're looking at you. I know it's a little weird because the camera's over here and their face is over here, and you want to look like you're making eye contact, but then you can't see them when you're looking into the camera. It's weird, but do the best you can. So one thing that you can do to do the best you can is make sure you have that lighting. You can get a ring light for not a whole lot of money. I have a tiny one that you clip onto your phone, and it made me look washed out and I didn't like it, so I never use it. But you can get a bigger one with a stand that, again, is not very expensive. It's like 30 bucks, I want to say, and you can move it around. So if you want that contrast, you can have it next to you, you can have it above you. Again, you can sit next to a window or stand next to a window in my case, so that you have that natural light lighting you, and it looks really great and warm, and it gives you that kind of glow. So, and then you can have your window and a lamp in addition, and that lamp can be wherever you want it to be based on A, how you want to look, and B, whatever your resources are, right? I have an overhead light. I just turn on my overhead light, and that's what I use. And you can see the results. Obviously, this could be better. This is not professional level, but it's good enough for a Zoom call. And this is where I stand for my Zoom calls. This is where I stand when I'm giving a presentation, when I'm making these videos, when I'm networking over Zoom. This is what you get. So get it in a way that you are comfortable with the way that you look, and make sure you're comfortable with the way that you look. That's all that matters. Next up is turn off your video, right? We all saw that awful video of that poor woman who did not realize her camera was on and went to the bathroom, and everyone saw, and now everyone saw, right? Not just everyone on that call, but everyone in the world almost, or at least in America, it seems like, saw that poor woman take her pants down. Don't let that be you. Yes, you can take your phone or your computer into the bathroom with you in the middle of a call, but not only should you turn off your video, also turn off the sound, because no one wants to hear the flush or whatever sounds come before the flush. So mute yourself, and really you should always be muting yourself if you're not talking, especially if someone else is giving a presentation. If you have pets, if you have small children, if you have a window that's open, which is, by the way, that's another tip. If you are next to a window, especially one, my living room window tends to be, it's right across a busy street, which is still busy. It feels like not as busy, but there's still traffic going on there, and lawn care people and all kinds of noises out there. So when I'm in a meeting, I always close that window. I close my back door so that people in my courtyard in the back aren't making noise that is interfering with my meetings. So get it as quiet as you can. You don't have to be in a soundproof room, like in your closet with padding everywhere to make it sound super good. No one's expecting this to be like a professional podcast level, but try to get rid of as many distractions as you can. And again, mute yourself whenever you are not talking to get rid of those distractions. Even if you're just typing, people can hear you typing, and that can be really distracting. So just mute yourself and turn off the video. If you're eating on video, A, don't eat on video. B, if you have to eat during Zoom calls, I get it. I was doing it just yesterday. I was at a networking event. It was over lunchtime. I was eating. I had my video turned off while I was eating because I don't want anyone to see me stuffing my face. And I was muted because no one wants to hear me stuffing my face, right? So I was there. I was present in the call. I was participating. I was chatting. I knew what was going on, and I was present as much as I could be, but no one wants to see you stuffing your face. So turn off the camera for that, which leads us into our next tip. Take advantage of the chat, right? Especially if it's in a large group and you don't want to interrupt the person speaking, or you just want to say something to one person in particular. You don't want everyone to know about it. Use that chat. Make sure that whatever you're chatting goes to the person you want it to go to. I know when I pull up Zoom and I pull up the chat, it tends to go directly to whoever chatted most recently, whoever most recently sent a chat. It automatically sends them a private message. So you can just go in and make sure that it's either going to the person you want it to go to, or if you want everyone to see that chat, then make sure that it goes to everyone. But just pay attention to that, because obviously you don't want to say something sensitive and have it be revealed to someone that you don't want it to be revealed to. And again, as far as turning off your video, if you're having a video happy hour, that's great. If you're drinking on the job, I'm not going to judge you for that, but your boss might, so maybe keep that off screen and be aware, just generally be aware of what's on screen. As far as dressing for Zoom, as you can see, I'm very pale and I have a pale background behind me. So I tend not to wear pastels when I'm on Zoom. I tend to wear brighter colors that I know are going to show up. I tend to wear bigger jewelry that I know is going to show up. I do have like a beige sweater and a pale pink sweater that I wear at networking events, and they look good on me, but they don't show up well on video. They tend to make it look like I'm naked, and no one wants to see that. So I'm going to wear stuff that shows up. So bring out the statement necklaces. If you have a statement necklace, bring out those bold colors. Bring out stuff that you know is going to contrast with your complexion, whatever that is, and contrast with your background, again, whatever that is. You don't have to get a backdrop. You can take advantage of the Zoom, there are fun Zoom backgrounds you can get. You can put a video up there and then people see that instead of whatever mess is behind you. But they can get a little wonky, especially if people are moving around a lot. It gets very distracting. So just be aware of that. If you're just going to stand still and stand here or sit and talk in one position more or less, that's great. But if you're one of those people who likes to move around a lot while you're talking, that background can be more distracting than whatever crap is behind you. So maybe keep that to a minimum. So that's it. Those are the tips for how to work from home and win at it. So again, I'm Allison Verhalen with AV Writing Services. If you have any other questions about working from home, about marketing yourself online while you're working from home, reach out to me. I've got all the answers. Again, I'm at avwritingservices.com, and you can reach me directly by emailing me at info@avwritingservices.com. Have a great week. Stay home. Stay safe. Happy marketing, everyone.